Okay, fellas, I'm gonna try to make this shorter than last time, not drag it on. Uh, Apologize for how long that last one was. Don't want to get that long again. It's too much watching at once. But if it just does start to drag out, then I'll try to break it up to parts. But I don't think it will. That I'll get you to the first one. Dracula versus Hitler by Patrick Shane Duncan. It's a very interesting combination. Definitely caught my eye. Sure seems like something that'd be gonna have very interesting. I like anything that's odd. That's definitely odd. Next one is Garden by Matthew Costello. I believe this one is the sequel to one I think he's got called Worm. I believe this is the only version I could find, or at least anyone, only a reasonably priced one that I could find. There is an ebook, and it had a cover similar to the cover of Worm. The ebook does, but I couldn't find a cover of this that matched the cover of Worm. So I got this. But when there's only one thing you can find, might as well just get the one. That's what happens to me a lot. I don't intentionally try to get rare or limited editions. Sometimes that's the only way you can get a book. And if they're not too high, then I really like the book, then I'll try to get it. And something you'll probably see is that I like a lot of Worm books for some reason. I got a lot of themes. Worms is one of them. I think I put on Instagram and Twitter. I think they allow you to put things on both at the same time. A bunch of my animal books and nature. And nature gone amok, I guess you could say. I put a bunch of them on there. I might wind up doing a video of them too, even though I did do that. I wasn't thinking about just taking pictures of all these and uploading them too, but it seemed to be the easier way to go is just making a video. Next one, Peter Straub's Ghost Story. I don't know if this is the first edition or not, but it's a pretty close to it. It says 1979 in there. Let's see if I can get that in a little B or something. There. Creepy. I had a normal paperback of this and didn't think much of it. I probably wasn't going to read it. And somebody shared this version of it that I wasn't aware of online. So the cover is interesting enough. It'll get me to read it eventually. So I ditched my paperback and then grabbed this when I could find it. This one's a little controversial for some people. L. Ron Hubbard's Battlefield Earth. I've had a paperback forever. Matter of fact, it is right here. This is the movie cover paperback, pretty thick. I think, paperback a lot thicker than the hardback for some reason. I also have the Decology of Mission Earth. I believe the rest of them were put up somewhere. I got half of them in paperback, half of them in hardback. And I plan on reading these too. I don't know when. It's a lot of reading for this, because every one of them is this thick. About the same. Because I wanted to compare the two. Yeah, because it seems like they're basically the same topic. One in one book, 1 and 10. And when you think about Hubbard, one or the other is what you think of for the most part. And I liked the movie. Most people didn't. So when you like the movie, then usually you want to go for the book. And because I like the movie so much, I wanted a decent copy of not just the paperback. The paperback would probably, by the time I got finished reading it, would be in a rough shape. And I wanted something that would hold up a little bit better. And believe it or not, the hardback is not the easiest thing to get. I mean, it can be found, but it's not like a Stephen King book. You find them just about anywhere. I had to do a little tracking down to get this, but I eventually found it. And I just hope I like it when I read it. Another twofer this time. Apocalypse Cow and World War Moo by Michael Logan. One Moo sequel to Cow. It's supposed to be a little bit of like a humorous takes on the end of the world situation. And it's another small theme I got, in my animal books. It's a little thing in the horror community with cow books, especially one actually called Cow. Let's see, I think I got that as an ebook. But that's a pretty famous one in our group. It's Cow, and it's almost you have to read it for the most part. Even if you want to stopping it, everybody has to start Cow. And a lot of people like these, and I like humor books, especially if you combine humor and horror. Then yeah, go ahead. I'm all for it. Girl Like a Bomb by Autumn Christian. I don't really know anything about this. I just saw it recommended one day in the group, and it caught my attention. And once again, being kind of like a pink colored book, it was interesting enough, and it being pink, I decided to spring for it. This one's I think it's a collection of stories. Zombies versus unicorns. Should be. Thank you. Yeah, different people in the young adult authors. Some names that I recognize and some I don't, because I haven't really dabbled too much in the young and adult, but I do recognize some of the names. It's a very interesting topic, weird, especially this is one of the few step back covers that I got. But, yeah, I can't really. There's a lot going on inside here. Yeah. So another really odd book. Yeah. That's interesting enough for me. Normally, I would probably get this as an ebook or something, but I found it one day and said, "Well, go ahead and get it." Okay, another twofer here. Ryu Murakami, In the Miso Soup, and Piercing. I don't know much about either one of these, other than at least the miso soup one. It's almost always highly recommended in the horror group. And usually you read, if a book's got a sequel, you go for it too. And that's a catchy cover, to say the least. Not something you expect to see. Of course, horror books get a lot more weirder than that, blatant. Both these should be interesting. Let's see, is this one? It's not a first edition, but it looks a little old. According to the copyright page, it looks like it's called the cheap edition. Dennis Wheatley's Strange Conflict. There's many editions of this, but this cover, it's hard to deny. Look at that. Very interesting cover. Again, a little hardback. So, if I was going to get this, then I might as well get this cover. So, I don't dabble too much into this topic or this genre, but when you do, you want to get the best in it. Which leads me to this one. An omnibus, Dennis Wheatley omnibus, with Devil Rides Out, The Haunting of Toby Jug, Gateway to Hell, and To the Devil a Daughter. Thick, heavy book. Made me a bookmark for this one, based on the cover I liked for The Devil Rides Out, to the Devil a Daughter, and Gateway to Hell. Oops, I'll fix that in a minute. I was gonna get this edition, right here. This one here's got to one more book in it, 4 instead of 3. So I said I'll go ahead and get this, and I'll just make a bookmark of this. Serves the same purpose. Oh boy. Yeah. Everything falling apart. Hmm. Well, yeah, just gonna have to make do, I guess. I'm most of the way through, and I can see this is getting a little long again, so I'm gonna try to speed this up. Fiends by R.L. Fanthorpe. This is another old animal attack book. I believe this is the, or at least it was the only version I could find. Not really cheap. Tell you that. Because I got a lot of ant books too, along with a bunch of a lot of ant books, like cow books, got a lot of pig books, etc. And kind of had to get this one to go with the rest. F. Paul Wilson's Night World. This is almost a definite an author everybody recommends in the horror group, especially this series. I believe it starts off with the Tomb and the Keep, or one or the other, and it goes on. And most of his books are linked somehow or other together, kind of like what Stephen King does. I mean, you'll find a little bit of this series and everything he writes. But to me, most of those others didn't really appeal to me. According to the synopsis, this one gets into a lot of the animal or nature attacks realm. At least it says so on the back. Kind of that. And interesting enough for me. All the rest of those, probably not so much. And I should be able to, even though it is one of the last ones in the series, I should be able to like and find without reading the rest. Bags Costello, where have all the little children gone, or little girls gone? Don't know much about it, other than it's a horror book. Same here. Constant Rouches, the landlady. Just another horror book with a weird cover. And I told you about this one in the last video. Stinger by McCammon. This is my paperback. If I could have gotten the Subterranean Press, I would, because the creature on it. Well, I guess the hand's better than nothing. This collection, Borderlands 2. The reason I got this over here in this group with, I might have some other Borderlands, I don't know. But I included this one because the stories and the authors were interesting enough to isolate it from the rest. And I wish you can see that. I guess it's supposed to be a spider web, but it looks like a cheesecloth to me. I wonder if that has anything to do with any of the stories. I don't know. Sometimes covers don't have anything to do with the story. That whole series, it's got a lot of fans. Not too many left. W.C. Fields by himself. He's a comedian, humor author that a lot of people have forgotten about. I think I read his W. Fields for President book, and I really liked it. And so, and there's a lot of things in here, like little articles and interviews and letters and stuff, all mixed bag of stuff. And I like books that are like that, where there's not the same thing in there. And because I like Fields, and I liked his humor, and combined the two, yeah. And I probably wind up reading the other one again when I read this. I think it's got its its autobiography for the most part. Yeah. Another collection. Zombie raccoons and killer bunnies. I mean, how could you not go for that when you like the things I like? It looks like the rabbit from the Monty Python movie. Run away, run away. Yeah, I'll group these together. John Farley got a little trilogy here. There's Demon. There's Titan. And there's Wizard. I couldn't find this one with an interesting cover like the other two. I said, well, better have one copy than none. I forget what it's about, but it seemed interesting enough. At least interesting enough to include on this, what I call the good shelf. Or good bookcase. Got four more, or pretty much. Philip Wiley, Los Angeles AD 217. I believe this is something like an end of the world story. And I've got a lot of end of the world books, and I kind of have a thing from books with the years and the title, especially almost current years. And well, we're past this one now. And this one will show you Adam and Eve 2020 AD by Paul Blackton. And we just passed this year too. Another apocalypse book. Another collection of short stories. 65 Stirrup Iron Road. A lot of good names there. If you're in a horror field. I mean, this is a novel, but they all collaborated on it. All worthy names. Can't go wrong with just about anybody on that list. Nope, not really. They're all worthy names. And if you're a horror fan, you pretty much have to have books by every one of these authors. That dang pencils cause me problems. Alright. Last is some comic books. Satan's Powder Room. And this one is signed I guess you can see it right there. I think his name is Robert Ryan, I think. He's one of the editors or something like that. I forget. It says on the inside what he is or not. It says, to match your uncle. So apparently the person he wrote it to was mad. Like I said, it's an odd thing. Catch my eye. I like odd stuff. Not sure you can tell, but there's a few nicks and creases along the spine. I actually read it. Kind of hard to avoid that, especially for comics. This is one of them that I do have for sale. This and this other one. Yeah. A lot of people would like this, but it was these with not quite up to worthy enough for me to keep. Some other people would be really glad to have these. For some reason, didn't really appeal too much to me. I can stand to lose them. Yeah, and then the last one, Satan's Baby. It's got a $, ampersand, octothorpe, percent sign, and asterisk. Those are used in place of the word sodomy. This is a very out there story, to say the least. If you know what, if you've heard, and see, there's the Eric Power, the author. If you're familiar with this, then you know. And that warning there, it basically tells you right there. See, hopefully that's long enough for you to read it. You can pause it. Tell you what you're getting into. And like I said, these are for sale. If I don't have a listing for them, eventually I will. They were on Marketplace. Don't know if they still are. I might have taken them down, but they one of those that was definitely on eBay, and but I think they were, and took them down. That's all I got this time. It's still close to 30 minutes. Promised I was going to break it in part, but I got into it and I didn't break it up like I promised I would. I'm sorry. I'll try to do better next time. I'll always try to improve. I'll thank you for sticking with me. The rest of the show is going to be about that length there. One might be a little bit less, not much. So I may have to break them in half, whether I like to or not. I'm going to have to, because you see, this is getting a little too long. Once again, thank you for sticking with me, and I apologize for this being too long. Hope you got something out of this. See you next time.